So this portfolio is pretty interesting. Um, I'm actually probably going to have to open it in a different browser. Uh, the main critique was textures, so there was a focus on textures. Give me a second here. I'm going to just get the good old Chrome up. Because the portfolio is actually all Sketchfab, so. All right. Utah, United States. Awesome. Big mecha fan, gaming and animation student. That profile picture alone. It's good. Senpai, what's up, man? My voice is very soothing. Dude, it's a good thing the mic's further away. The mic's like maybe that far now? Far away from me? Used to be right here. A little dangerous. All right, so there's quite a bit of stuff in here. Main comment was textures, so we're just going to really focus on textures. Oh, that's cool. I can... Okay, so we'll look at this guy. Now, it's pretty difficult because I think with Sketchfab, I don't think there's layered materials per se. And I haven't looked into Sketchfab, so if someone in chat knows that layered materials are a thing, let me know. Because the fidelity here is pretty high, but this is just telling me that this is a really high res texture. Let's see here. There's no 2D view in final render. What? Base color? Oh, there we go. It is a single. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Dude, I think they're looking into the thing I'm talking about. Cause like if I'm like, okay, where is that? Okay, I can see it's here. Oh, that's good. Rubber Ben, what's up, man? Jamie Reed 3D, how you doing? Been lurking for a long time and getting more involved in the Discord and the streams. Awesome. I appreciate you coming by and coming out of the shadows. I know that can be a lot for some people. But in all honesty, that's quite imperative. I think if you want to be successful in this industry, your neck has to be out there. Don't worry, no one's gonna cut you. We're all here to get better. So, I think with this specific asset, let's go to this view and we'll just look at 3D. I think it's about getting the material separation happening and understanding what is made out of what, and then I guess it was painted green before, and then the metal has been exposed from all the shoveling, and there's some rust. Make sure the rust doesn't happen on the paint necessarily. Yeah, I'm just gonna, let's see what else we got here. So we got this one. This one might have some more obvious, always a lurker. Shadows. What's up, Pinion? How you doing, man? Hey, thanks for the Patreon donation. It's not donation. The sub. I don't know what. Thanks, man. It means a lot, dude. So with this asset, like definitely, is there a way to, there it is, Alt left clicking. So some things to think about. This edge here, just bevel that. Don't worry about the fact that it's going to cost you more geo. Just bevel it. It'll look much nicer when the light can wrap around there. And then this has some smoothing group issues. So like this all needs to be like one smoothing group, so these edges are soft. The light can wrap around that much cleaner. And then I think hang on. It's hard to tell because the light's only rotating. I don't think your normals are flipped, but the resolution of this texture is very low. I think maybe it's tiling really low. And then take a pass on making sure that these feel like metal. Right now, I think they're not. Let me see what we got. So we got albedo, specular glossiness. That should probably be more glossy. Like I think you're being a little careful with the glossiness and the range that you're seeing here. It'd be quite a bit darker actually. And then specular, yeah. I'm not comfortable in specular and glossiness approach. So I don't know. Someone in chat might let me know if that I'm speaking off base on some of that stuff. Yeah, the tiling of the wood material is very low, or the resolution of the texture is very low. Either way, it's quite noisy. So you're trying to understand like how it's all put together. I would wonder if like this piece here is more like let's just do this. So if this piece is more like you should have a piece of wood like this, right? And then another one here. Oh, you can't really see it. I'm sorry. So you got 3 pieces of wood, right? And then you need to have maybe some type of image, or hell, I would just cut a hole in the wood, so that like you actually see the rod or the beam through there. Just put it together and make it make sense, because like this asset could easily be like, let me see what the, so we go and look at it like this. This could be 4 times as high in poly count and still be acceptable. Going any higher, and then I think you're actually using more geometry than is needed to show what you're trying to show. But I think you could go maybe 3 to 4 times higher in your poly count, especially when the detail of this is so high. Like, how come there'd be that many edges when the edge count is this low up here, right? You want to make sure you keep the stepping down. So Daidi would like to add something. It's like the grain in the cylinder wood piece is not in the good way. A cylindrical piece made like this in real life can be broken easily. So, right. So you're talking more of like you need a core approach or not a core approach. So it's definitely looking at reference to make sure the stuff is put together the way that it should be. Let's go ahead and look at this one, and then we'll probably call it good, just because I think there's actually a lot to digest just through these few examples. This one's definitely better than the last couple that we looked at. Just looks like maybe you're further. Let me see is there a date on these? There's no date on these. Is there when you click on it? There's not. Okay. Either way, these look pretty good. Again, I would say either a bevel. Well, there is a bevel there. Okay. What's going on here? That is interesting. So there's some weird kind of artifacting that's happening on the edge here. Definitely looks like it was maybe painted on, but there's an edge in there, which I'm not sure of. Like if that was either generated or whatnot. But overall, I think if we go to roughness. So this is metalness and rough. Interesting. Okay, so roughness wise, this looks pretty good. I would actually, are the stickers part of the, or are they separate? They're on, okay, they're in here. So I would take a pass on where the stickers are, and maybe like if they're going to be in the asset, like in the texture embedded, definitely look at taking those and giving them their own roughness value so that they separate themselves from the rest of the asset. That way you get more visual interest and another hit of specular or roughness interaction when your camera moves along the asset. I think in general this one's pretty good. There are some issues that you can focus on, like this piece is huge. So like when you shrink it down to like its proper scale, the textile density of it is probably a little too high. I mean, maybe you're using it on these, I don't know. But this is a pretty nice kit So you can do a lot with this in a scene. It's like populating walls and details like that. But yeah, definitely look at reference. I think probably one of the weaker parts about like this asset, for example, is looking at reference and understanding how this stuff is put together is going to explain a lot. Oh, I see what you're talking about now. Yeah, you'd want to, if you're going to use the same material because you don't have resources to use another texture, definitely rotate the UV sideways. There's no metalness? What do you mean? What's up, Rip? How you doing? So in this one, it's specular glossiness. In this one, there is a metalness map, but we're only looking at the roughness. Let me look at the metalness. So this is pretty debated, but if you have exposed metal in the metalness map, it's usually white, just outright white, right? And if it's not that, then it needs to be black. So whenever you have these middle ranges, you're sitting inside of a range that's between a metal and between a non-metal. A lot of tech artists that I talk to will say that you should just have black and white. And there's certain areas where it kind of looks better if you go between the two, but then it's not physically correct in that sense. But that's also kind of meeting a limitation of where we are at currently with physically based materials. When possible, I would stick with the black and whites and then kind of mix it only when it looks good to you and people are saying that it looks better. And you're not being told by your tech art team that you'll be shipping this content on a game that they're like, that's not right. Always listen to your tech artists. They're smart. They know what they're doing. But yeah, right now there's a lot of mixing going on here, and I would suggest separating those out a little bit more. Like if I were to take this one here, I don't know how this is gonna work if I bring it into Photoshop. Let's see. If I go in here and then just like that's probably more accurate, even though there's still some gradients in there. But like all of this should probably be black, unless it's metal, right? If it's metal and it's not painted or it doesn't have any paint or what else can be on top of it. Either way, if it's painted, then it wouldn't have a metalness to it. But if it's just like a metal surface, then it's gonna be then it'll be white. If you have a lot of dirt buildup, then where there's dirt, it's black. Because dirt's not metal. But hopefully, oh, what is this? What? Oh, I see what's going on. I'm like, why can't I read anything? So hopefully that shines some light on some stuff for you. Since you wanted me to focus on the materials. And yeah. All right, we're gonna get to the Discord critiques. We've delayed for too long. I'll be right back.